The distress signal had been broadcasting for 17 days. Commander Kara Chun of the mining colony Prosperity Station watched the empty space beyond her viewport, her hope fading with each passing hour. The colony's defense shields flickered weakly, barely holding against the constant bombardment from the Zephyrian warships surrounding them. "Any response to our signal?" she asked Lieutenant Torres, though she already knew the answer. "Nothing, Commander. We're too far from any allied systems. The nearest human outpost is 3 months away at standard speed." Kara closed her eyes. 3,000 colonists, including 400 children, depended on her. They had come to this remote corner of the galaxy to mine rare crystals, essential for faster-than-light communication. Nobody expected the Zephyrians to claim this dead system as their territory. The Zephyrians were new to the galactic community, but they had quickly earned a reputation for brutality. Their ships looked like massive metal squids, with tentacle-like weapons that could tear through most shields. They never negotiated, never showed mercy. When they wanted something, they took it. "Commander, they're hailing us again," Torres said. The main screen lit up with the image of Overlord Craxus, the Zephyrian fleet commander. His face resembled a nightmare fusion of reptile and insect, with compound eyes that reflected light in disturbing patterns. "Humans," Craxus spoke, his voice like grinding metal. "Your shields will fail within the day. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick. Continue to resist, and we will take our time with each of you." "We've sent our distress signal," Kara replied firmly. "Help is coming." Craxus made a sound that might have been laughter. "From whom?" "Your Earth is far away, little human. Your colonies are scattered and weak. The Galactic Council will not intervene in territorial disputes. You are alone." The transmission ended. Kara turned to her crew, seeing fear in their eyes, but also determination. These are good people, brave people. They deserved better than to die in this forgotten corner of space. "Double the power to shields," she ordered, "and keep broadcasting that signal." In the colony's main plaza, families huddled together. Maria Santos held her 7-year-old daughter, Eva, close. Around them, other colonists shared what little food remained. The siege had lasted over 2 weeks, and supplies were running dangerously low. "Mama, why don't the aliens just leave us alone?" Eva asked. Maria smoothed her daughter's hair. "Sometimes people want what others have, sweetheart. But we're strong. We'll get through this." Old Chun, the colony's historian, sat nearby. He had lived through the Mars Colony Rebellion and the First Contact Wars. "I've seen humanity face worse," he said to anyone who would listen. "We always find a way. Always." But privately, even Chun had doubts. The Zephyrian fleet consisted of 20 warships, each one larger than the entire mining colony. Prosperity Station had mining lasers and a few outdated defense turrets. It was like fighting battleships with slingshots. Above the planet, Craxus studied the human colony with satisfaction. His species had emerged from their homeworld only 50 years ago, but they had learned quickly that the galaxy respected only strength. These humans, with their soft bodies and emotional attachments, were perfect prey. Overlord, his second-in-command, approached. "Our scanners show no ships within 100 light-years. The humans are truly alone." "Good. When their shields fall, we will take the colony intact. Their mining equipment will serve us well, and the survivors will make useful slaves." "What are their distress signal?" Craxus dismissed the concern with a wave of his clawed hand. "Let them call. The void does not answer the cries of the weak." Back on Prosperity Station, Chief Engineer Rodriguez worked frantically to keep the shields operational. The generator room was sweltering hot, filled with the smell of overheated circuits and desperation. "We're pushing these systems beyond their limits," his assistant, young Kim, warned. "The whole grid could collapse." "Then we push them harder," Rodriguez replied, sweat dripping from his forehead. "Every minute we buy is another minute for help to arrive." "But what if help doesn't come?" Rodriguez paused his work to look at Kim. The kid was barely 20, full of dreams about exploring the galaxy. "Then we make sure the Zephyrians remember the price of attacking humans. We don't go quietly." In her command center, Kara received update after update, each worse than the last. Shield strength at 30%. Food supplies critical. Medical supplies nearly exhausted from treating the wounded. The colony's children had stopped playing, their laughter replaced by fearful whispers. She thought about Earth, that blue marble so far away. When humanity first reached for the stars, they promised that no human would ever stand alone. The United Earth Fleet was legendary, had fought off the Skorax invasion, and brought peace to a dozen systems. But Earth felt like a fairy tale now, too far away to matter. Commander, Torres interrupted her thoughts. We're picking up something on long-range sensors. Zephyrian reinforcements? No, ma'am. I'm not sure. The readings don't make sense. It's big, really big, and moving faster than anything I've ever seen. Kara studied the data. Whatever it was still days away. Their shields wouldn't last that long. But it was something, a mystery in the void that gave her the tiniest spark of hope. Keep monitoring it, she ordered. And Torres? Don't mention this to anyone yet. False hope can be crueler than despair. As Prosperity Station's 16th night under siege began, 3,000 humans prepared for what might be their last stand. They checked weapons, rationed food, and held their loved ones close. In the darkness between stars, they waited and hoped and refused to surrender. The Zephyrians thought they were attacking another weak colony, another easy victory to add to their growing empire. They believed the humans' call for help would go unanswered, that Earth was too far away to care about one small mining station. They were wrong. In the depths of space, something massive changed course. Ancient drives, technology that the Zephyrians couldn't even imagine, powered up to full capacity. The United Earth Fleet had heard the call, and Earth never abandoned her children. Admiral Sarah Mitchell stood on the bridge of the UES Thunderchild, humanity's flagship. The massive dreadnought was cutting through space at speeds that violated several laws of physics. Around her, the entire First Fleet maintained perfect formation despite traveling faster than most species believed possible. Admiral, we're approaching the target system, Captain Johnson reported. ETA, 4 hours. Signal the fleet. Battle stations. The order rippled through 200 warships. The First Fleet represented 20% of Earth's total naval strength, pulled from defensive positions around humanity's core worlds. It was the largest military deployment since the Skorax War. When Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station had detected the distress signal from Prosperity Station, the response was immediate. The beacon's authentication codes were valid. Human citizens were under attack. The Senate's emergency session lasted exactly 12 minutes before unanimous approval for military intervention. Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Walsh approached with a tactical display. Latest intelligence suggests 20 Zephyrian vessels maintaining a blockade around the colony. Standard siege formation. Mitchell studied the data. The Zephyrians were new players, aggressive and overconfident. They had never faced serious opposition because they picked on isolated targets. Today, they would learn why even the ancient Krell Empire treated Earth with respect. They have no idea we're coming, Mitchell said. Let's keep it that way. Full stealth protocols until we're ready to strike. Back at Prosperity Station, the situation had become critical. The shields finally failed 2 hours ago. Zephyrian landing craft descended like metal rain, depositing thousands of soldiers around the colony. Kara had pulled all civilians into the central complex, their last defensible position. The fighting was brutal, mining lasers and improvised weapons against advanced Zephyrian armor. For every alien they killed, the colonists lost 10 people. But they fought with the desperation of those protecting their children. South Wall is breached, someone shouted. Kara grabbed her rifle, a relic from her military days. Emergency teams to the South Wall. Everyone else, hold your positions. The Zephyrian soldiers were efficient killers. They moved through the colony's outer districts methodically, stunning anyone they wanted as slaves and killing those who resisted. Their weapons fired bolts of green energy that burned through walls and flesh alike. In the central plaza, Dr. Park worked frantically to save lives. The makeshift hospital overflowed with wounded. She had run out of proper medical supplies hours ago and was using mining gel as bandages. "Doctor, we need you at the east entrance," a young volunteer called. "I can't leave these patients." An explosion rocked the building. The east entrance was gone, replaced by a smoking hole. Zephyrian soldiers poured through, their weapons raised. Maria Santos pushed Eva behind an overturned table. Around them, colonists took what cover they could find. Some had weapons, others grabbed tools or debris. Everyone understood this was their last stand. The lead Zephyrian spoke through a translator. "Surrender. Craxus offers mercy to those who submit." "The only thing we're submitting," shouted Rodriguez, hefting a plasma cutter, "is your death certificates." The battle for the central plaza erupted. Colonists fought with everything they had. Parents became warriors, engineers became soldiers. Even the children threw rocks at the invaders. But bravery couldn't overcome superior numbers and technology. Just as the Zephyrian forces prepared their final push, Torres noticed something on his damaged scanner. "Commander, those unknown contacts, they're decelerating hard. They'll be here in minutes, not hours." Aboard the Thunderchild, Admiral Mitchell watched the tactical display with cold fury. Long-range sensors showed the colony under direct assault. Human civilians fighting desperately. Children in danger. "All ships, this is Mitchell. Prosperity Station is under active ground assault. Rules of engagement are suspended. I repeat, all restrictions lifted. Show these bastards why you don't touch Earth's children." 200 confirmations flooded back. The fleet dropped out of stealth mode simultaneously, their arrival announced by a massive gravitational wave that shook every ship in the system. Craxus was enjoying a victory feast aboard his flagship when alarm screamed. "Overlord, massive fleet signatures detected. They just appeared from nowhere." "Impossible. Show me." His words died as the tactical display updated. Where empty space had been moments before, now hundreds of contacts appeared. The scanner struggling to classify them all. Battleships, carriers, destroyers, frigates. And, at their center, something so large the computer simply labeled it error. Classification impossible. "Ow!" Craxus whispered. His science officer trembled. "They were traveling at 50 times light speed, Overlord. Our physics says that's impossible, but all ships defensive formation." Craxus ordered. But he knew it was already too late. The United Earth Fleet opened fire. Not with the simple energy weapons the Zephyrians expected, but with weapons that had been refined through 100 conflicts. Antimatter torpedoes that turned smaller ships into brief stars. Gravitational pulse cannons that crumpled hull armor like paper. Directed singularity projectors that simply erased portions of enemy vessels from existence. The Zephyrian fleet, moments before confident in their superiority, found themselves completely outmatched. Their weapons, so effective against civilian shields, couldn't even scratch military-grade Earth armor. Their proud warships began dying one by one. "Overlord, we must retreat," the second-in-command begged. "No, we have their colony. They won't risk." A massive hologram appeared in space, visible to every ship and the colony below. Admiral Mitchell's face, stern and unforgiving, stared down at them. "Zephyrian forces, I am Admiral Mitchell of the United Earth Fleet. You have attacked human civilians. You have threatened human children. This is your only warning. Withdraw immediately or face complete annihilation." On the surface, the Zephyrian ground forces hesitated. Their unstoppable advance suddenly seemed very stoppable as Earth fighters screamed overhead, their weapons precisely targeting only alien forces. Kara couldn't believe her eyes. The sky filled with human ships. Dropships descended like avenging angels, deploying Earth Marines in power armor that made the Zephyrian equipment look primitive. "Earth came," she whispered. "They actually came." Oldchin laughed through his tears. "I told you, Earth never forgets her own." The Marines moved through the colony with lethal efficiency. Where Zephyrian soldiers had terrorized civilians, they now faced warriors who had trained their entire lives for this moment. The aliens' advanced armor meant nothing against weapons designed to crack asteroids. In the central plaza, Maria clutched Eva as Earth's soldiers surrounded them protectively. One Marine, his armor scarred from countless battles, knelt beside the little girl. His voice, modulated through the suit's speakers, was surprisingly gentle. "You're safe now, little one. The monsters won't hurt you anymore." Eva, with the innocent bravery of children, hugged the armored giant. "Are you from Earth?" "That's right. And we'll always come when you call." Above, the space battle had become a rout. Zephyrian ships fled in all directions, but Earth fighters pursued relentlessly. The lucky ones managed to jump to hyperspace. The rest became expanding clouds of debris. Craxus's flagship shuddered under another impact. Half his bridge crew was dead. His proud fleet reduced to scrap metal in minutes. "Ow," he asked again. "We studied you. You're too far away, too scattered." A communication channel opened. Admiral Mitchell appeared on his screen, her expression carved from stone. "You made one mistake, Craxus. You thought distance mattered. You thought we wouldn't cross the galaxy for one small colony. It's just one mining station. Why waste such resources? Because they're human." Mitchell's voice carried the weight of absolute conviction. Every human, on every world, in every corner of this galaxy, is under Earth's protection. You thought no one would come? We launched this fleet 17 days ago, the moment we received their signal. We pushed our engines beyond their limits. We burned through enough fuel to power a planet for a year. All to send one message. She leaned forward, her eyes burning with cold fire. Earth, always, comes. Craxus's flagship, the Pride of Zephyr, was dying. Systems failed one after another as Earth's weapons tore through its defenses. The Overlord who had terrorized dozens of colonies now cowered on his bridge, watching his empire crumble in minutes. "Overlord, engines are offline. We cannot escape," his navigator screamed. Through the view screen, Craxus saw the Thunderchild approaching. The human dreadnought was impossibly vast, its hull bristling with weapons he couldn't even identify. It moved with the casual confidence of an apex predator. "Signal surrender," Craxus whispered, the words like poison on his tongue. "They're not responding to surrender signals, Overlord. The humans, they're still firing." Admiral Mitchell watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Of the 20 Zephyrian warships, 18 were confirmed destroyed. The remaining 2, including Craxus's flagship, were crippled and venting atmosphere. "Admiral," Captain Johnson said quietly, "they're trying to surrender." "I'm aware, Captain. The Galactic Council protocols regarding surrender. The Galactic Council isn't here, Captain. Those bastards were executing children when we arrived." Mitchell's voice was ice. "But we're not them. Disable their weapons and engines. For them. I want Craxus alive." On Prosperity Station, the transformation was remarkable. Where hours before families had huddled in terror, now Earth's relief forces distributed food, medical supplies, and hope. The colony's shields, rebuilt with military-grade generators, hummed with renewed strength. Commander Kara-chan stood in what remained of her office, speaking with General Thompson, commander of the Marine Expeditionary Force. The general was a giant of a man, his face marked by scars from a dozen worlds. "Your people fought well, Commander," Thompson said. "We've reviewed the combat logs. 3,000 civilians held off a force 10 times their size for over 2 weeks. That's extraordinary." "We lost 412 people," Kara replied, the number burned into her memory. "And saved 2,600, including all the children." Thompson's voice softened. Their sacrifice wasn't in vain. In the medical center, Dr. Park worked alongside Earth's medical teams. Their equipment was so advanced it seemed like magic. Wounds that would have meant certain death were healed in minutes. Even some they thought lost were brought back. "Doctor," one of the Earth medics called out, "we've stabilized all critical patients. The nanomedical suites will have everyone back to full health within days." Park sank into a chair, exhaustion finally catching up. "When we sent that signal, I never really believed. I mean, Earth is so far." The medic, a young woman with kind eyes, smiled. "Distance means nothing. You're human. That's all that matters." Outside, Eva Santos played with other children under the watchful eyes of Earth Marines. The soldiers had removed their helmets, revealing human faces beneath. One taught the kids a game from Earth, while another shared chocolate from his rations. "My mom says you came from Earth to save us," Eva told the Marine who had first comforted her. Sergeant Williams smiled. "That's right, little one. All the way from Earth." "But why?" "We're nobody special. Just minors." Williams knelt to her level. "You're human. That makes you family. And family looks after each other, no matter how far apart they are." In orbit, the boarding of Craxus's ship proceeded smoothly. The Zephyrian crew, faced with Earth Marines in power armor, surrendered without resistance. They had witnessed their fleet's destruction and wanted no part of close combat with these humans. Craxus was dragged before Admiral Mitchell on the Thunderchild's bridge. The proud overlord who had boasted about humanity's weakness now knelt before a human woman. "You destroyed my fleet," he said, "killed thousands of my warriors. You attacked our civilians, threatened our children." Mitchell's voice held no sympathy. "You're lucky I don't space you right now. What will you do with me? You'll stand trial on Earth. The families of those you murdered will face you. Justice will be served." She gestured to the Marines. "Take him to the brig." As Craxus was dragged away, he turned back. How did you come so fast?" "The physics." Mitchell allowed herself a cold smile. 50 years ago, the Skorax thought they could raid our colonies without consequence. They learned otherwise. Since then, every Earth ship has carried something special. Quantum entanglement communicators for instant alerts. Alcubierre drives that laugh at your understanding of physics. And, most importantly, the absolute commitment that no human stands alone. But the cost, irrelevant. You want to know the real difference between us and you, Craxus? You measure everything in cost and benefit. We measure it in lives and family. Those 3,000 people called for help. That made the decision simple. The aftermath of what historians would call the Prosperity Intervention resonated throughout the galaxy. The complete destruction of a Zephyrian fleet in under an hour sent shockwaves through every spacefaring civilization. On the Galactic Council Station, representatives from 100 worlds watched the footage in stunned silence. The Zephyrians had been considered a rising military power. Earth had swatted them like insects. Ambassador Chun, no relation to the colony commander, addressed the assembly. "Let this be clear to all. Earth claims no empire, demands no tribute, seeks no conquest. But every human on every world, in every system, is under our protection. Attack them, and you attack Earth itself." The Krell ambassador, whose species was ancient when humans were learning to use fire, leaned forward. "You traveled 17,000 light years in 17 days. That's impossible." "Impossible?" Chun smiled. "We prefer to call it determined. The impossible just takes a little longer." Back on Prosperity Station, reconstruction began immediately. Earth's engineers worked alongside the colonists, rebuilding not just structures, but spirits. The colony that had barely survived would emerge stronger than ever. A week after the battle, Admiral Mitchell stood in the colony's rebuilt plaza. A memorial had been erected for the 412 who died defending their home. Their names etched in stone imported from Earth itself. "They will be remembered," Mitchell said at the dedication ceremony. "Every name, every sacrifice, and their story will spread to every human world. You fought alone for 17 days, but you were never truly alone. Earth heard. Earth came. Earth always will." Young Eva Santos placed a flower at the memorial, one of thousands brought by the relief ships. She looked up at the Admiral. "Will the bad aliens come back?" Mitchell knelt beside her, her stern features softening. "No, little one. They learned their lesson. And if anyone else tries, we'll teach them the same thing." "What's that?" "That humans stick together. Always." The crowd erupted in cheers. Colonists and soldiers, miners and Marines, all united in a single truth. They were human. They were family. And family always comes when called. 6 months later, Prosperity Station had transformed into one of the most heavily defended colonies in human space. Its rare crystals, vital for faster-than-light communication, now flowed freely to Earth and her allies. The colony's population had doubled as families, inspired by the story of their stand, came to join them. Commander Kara-chan, promoted to system governor, stood in her new office watching ships come and go. The space that had once been empty and hostile now bustled with activity. Earth had established a permanent military base, a clear message to anyone who might threaten the colony again. Governor, her aide announced, "We're receiving a transmission from Earth." Personal message from the president. The screen lit up with President Harrison's face. "Governor Chun, I wanted to personally thank you. Your colony's courage reminded us all what it means to be human. You held the line when everything seemed lost. You protected your people. You never gave up hope. We just did what anyone would do, Mr. President." "No," Harrison shook his head. "You did what heroes do. And that's why I'm pleased to announce that the Senate has approved the construction of humanity's newest dreadnought. It will be named the HFY Prosperity in honor of your colony's stand." Kara felt tears on her cheeks. "Thank you, sir. That means everything." "No, Governor. Thank you for reminding us that every human life matters. That every colony, no matter how remote, is worth fighting for." Prosperity Station called, and Earth answered. "That's who we are. That's who we'll always be." The connection ended, and Kara turned to look out at the stars. Somewhere out there, other colonies worked and lived and hoped. And if danger came, they would send their call into the void. And Earth would answer. Always. The story of Prosperity Station spread throughout human space and beyond. It became a legend, a reminder, a promise. The Zephyrian Empire never recovered, fragmenting within a year as their subjects rebelled, inspired by humanity's example. Other aggressive species took note and turned their ambitions elsewhere. In schools across Earth and her colonies, children learned the tale. How 3,000 miners stood against impossible odds. How Earth crossed impossible distances to save them. How humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their fleets, but their unbreakable bond with each other. And in the depths of space, on a small mining colony that faced annihilation, Eva Santos grew up. She would become one of humanity's greatest admirals, carrying the lesson learned that day when Earth's fleet appeared in their darkest hour. No human stand alone. Earth always comes. Always.